Hello, welcome back to the channel. Right, now I know I haven't posted a video in over a month now, but still having grief with YouTube, and I am trying to sort all that out. Plus I've been busy at work, family life, being a grandparent, etc. And on top of that, a couple of Fridays ago, crushed my hand at work, so got a metal pin going through there. It's got to come out in a few weeks, 4 weeks I think it is. So I've kind of been laid up, and a cast only came off this yesterday. I'm down to this little thing, so I've got a couple of fingers back, but literally my hand was in a cast that went right the way up and halfway down my arm. So literally my right hand, which is my predominant hand, was completely out of action. But I've got a little bit more movement. But this is regarding something I saw on the internet, and I just wanted to run it by you. See what you think. Now, last year I done a video on Spike Lee. He was going to do a remake of the 1973 Bruce Lee classic, Enter the Dragon. I'm a massive Bruce Lee fan, and that was the movie that introduced me to Bruce. Anyway, so I done a video last year on Spike Lee and should he do a remake of Enter the Dragon. Well, recently I have read that Deadline put out that David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2 and John Wick, I think there's another one, he's in chats with Warner Brothers about doing a remake of Enter the Dragon. Now, when I was talking about the Spike Lee getting involved, I was dead against it. I thought it's sacred ground. Let's not do this, right? And I was quite negative, to be honest, on the idea of it. And I can't remember the guy from Hangover. Is it Ken Jeong? I think it might be. He was going to play Mr. Lee. I just couldn't get my head around that. To me, it was going to, it wasn't going to be the thing. So, but that came and went, and it didn't happen. But now this David Leitch is in talks with Warner Brothers about doing this. Now we know a film's a few decades old. Normally there's a remake, and there has been a few awful ones, and there has been a few really good ones. The ones that I really like, remakes that is obviously Brian De Palma's Scarface with Al Pacino. I thought that was a fantastic remake. I did enjoy the original one, but I think if you compare the two, Cape Fear, the Martin Scorsese, Nick Nolte, Robert De Niro film, the original was a great movie, and the remake paid homage to them as well. But I thought the remake was fantastic. And you got films like The Fly, The Thing. There's been some really good remakes. So it was only a matter of time before Enter the Dragon gets a remake. Now, let's be honest. Enter the Dragon's got everything going for it, really, innit? It's got some really cool Hong Kong backgrounds and settings, the junks and Han's mysterious island and stuff like that. You've got Lalo Schifrin's score, that funky, jazzy, weird, psychedelic music going on, which, let's be honest, it's Lalo's masterpiece. He's done some good ones, Mission Impossible, Bullet, etc. But I think, hands down, Enter the Dragon is the one. So you got that, and obviously then you got the ultimate villain, an ex-Shaolin monk turned renegade, and he owns this mysterious island, Han, with his knife as a hand, his claw. You got Jim Kelly, the cool black dude. Great fighter with loads of cool attitude. You got probably the best nunchucker sequence ever put to celluloid, in my humble opinion. Yeah, Bruce done an awesome job in Way of the Dragon with 2, and the Game of Death scene with Danny Inosanto was awesome, and Fist of Fury 2. The nunchucker scenes are all awesome, but for me, that little segment in Enter the Dragon where he takes the nunchuckers off the guy with his screamer sticks and then does that little routine and finishes the way he does, it's just super, super cool. Super cool. You got Jackie Chan as a stuntman just in it, Sammo Hung in it. I mean, Enter the Dragon's got everything going for it, and right at the centre you got Bruce Lee. He was perfect. Physically, his philosophy, his charisma. It was just so charismatic. He just literally jumped out of the screen at you. Now, this is the big question. Who could step in as Mr. Lee? I don't know. I mean, there's some good guys out there. I mean, I did write a little list down. Hang on, I'm going to need my bins. Of possibles. But let's be honest, that's the problem. I mean, I actually wrote down Tony Jaa, who was the Ong Bak, fantastic martial artist. And I don't think he's known that well over here. And this is the thing. I mean, before Enter the Dragon, there was no martial arts superstars, international, you know. In Asia, Bruce Lee was a martial arts superstar. You know, he'd done, what was his previous? He'd done 3 full films, and he was halfway through doing Game of Death when Warner Brothers come calling to do this massive production. So that was The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, and he'd done half a Game of Death. You can see the sort of footage now completed. I mean, there is a movie that was released in 1978, The Game of Death, and I have it on Blu-ray, and I've got it on DVD, and I've watched it countless times. But it's more a guilty pleasure, really. I mean, they use Bruce Lee's funeral. It's a bit bad taste in some ways, but it was the only way you could ever get to see that footage, and that was never complete. Certainly not over here in the UK. We had the nunchucker scene cut completely out back in the James Furman days. So that's a guilty pleasure. But the footage that Bruce Lee actually put together, you can see as a piece, and that's well worth watching. But it builds you up to Enter the Dragon. Let's be honest, the most well-known, and it's probably the best. It's probably the best martial art movie ever done, you know, for everything that's involved in it. So, the people that there's Tony Jaa. Now, Donnie Yen. He played in the Ip Man series. Donnie Yen's a bit of a veteran. He's been about a little bit, but the guy can fight. And I can't pronounce this guy's name that well. Iko Uwais. I've seen the Raid movies, Raid 1 and 2, and the action sequences are literally jaw-dropping. Unbelievable. But is he well known? Not really, no. So there's that. Also, you've got, who would play Roper? It was played brilliantly by John Saxon, wasn't it? Let's be honest, he was cool. You've got Ryan Reynolds, who played Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds, he's cool, he can fight. Tom Hardy, possibly. Tom Hardy's brilliant. Jason Statham, they could all pull it off, I think. Williams, who would play Jim Kelly, God rest his soul. He was a cool dude, wasn't he? You got Dwayne Johnson or Michael J. White. I mean, this guy he actually is a really good martial artist. Michael J. White would be actually perfect for it. Dave Bautista, the big guy, you know. Now, he would play an awesome bolo. He could play an excellent bolo. But, I mean, at the minute, it's just talks. There's no screenwriter to it. There's no soundtrack to it. There's no actors being signed to it. It's just talks. But this could be big. I mean, and let's be honest, this David Leitch, he came into the film industry as a stuntman. So he must I think he'd done stunts for double for Brad Pitt and a couple of others. So he understands action. And for me, it wouldn't be that difficult, really. You'd pull in some veterans to help you with martial art choreography. You know, Sammo Hung comes to mind. Another classic veteran of the martial arts cinema world, and who actually was in Enter the Dragon. He was the first person Bruce Lee fights at the Shaolin Temple. Or Jackie Chan. I mean, let's be honest, no one does action sequences like these sort of guys. Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Bu, they know their stuff. So the action could be awesome if David Leitch approached it from that way, you know. You get a really good plot going on, a bit more back plots, you know. That Hannah Caprice character, you know, you'd never really got to know much about her. You know, Roper got with her, and then she ended up, spoiler alert, dying at the end, you know, but you didn't really know nothing about her. Or the Roper and Williams. You know they knew each other really well. They was in Nam together. But you only find that out when they meet up on the junk. But you know they know each other well because they're sort of betting on each other when there's fights going on. I mean, the plot's really simple to Enter the Dragon, really, isn't it? I mean, British intelligence approach a martial arts master at the Shaolin Temple to go and infiltrate an island by a corrupt guy who's not in their territorial waters. So can you go in there as a spy and get her evidence for us? But obviously Bruce Lee's a little bit of a protagonist because his sister was raped, or she committed suicide before she was raped by O'Hara, the guy with a scar in Enter the Dragon, by Han's henchman. So he's sort of got ulterior motives to go to the island and sort this out. But the plot's really simple, really. So it could be really, really developed to make it into something spectacular. So, should Enter the Dragon be made? I'm going to say give it a go. Now, I know you're going to be going mad. Don't coming at me with your nunchucks and your bow staffs. But bottom line, if it ends up being awful, diabolical crap, we can always go back to our favourite Blu-ray. You know, it may even bring some new people to Enter the Dragon. You know, people watch the one and then they want to go back and see what the original's all about. There'll never be a movie like it, I don't think. It was of its time. Bruce Lee now has gone from Asian superstar to world superstar to, let's be honest, 45 years later, Bruce Lee, legend. An absolute icon of that kung fu fighting era. And I think you talk to any martial artist, most people have heard of Bruce Lee. So they're going to be a big pair of shoes to step into, whoever takes on the role. And they're going to get criticised. They're going to. Because everyone's going to compare. And I'm sorry, where it comes to charisma, martial art, timing, I haven't seen anyone like him. Yes, I've seen some fantastic, like I mentioned them martial artists earlier. Amazing. But have they got that screen presence that Bruce had, that timing, that scream? Wow. I mean, the movie was a showcase for Bruce, and it worked perfectly. It's just a shame he died a few weeks prior to its release, so he couldn't sort of see the fruits of his work. And, well, look at him now. Bless him. 45 years later, and they're talking about doing a remake. And I think Bruce's popularity is bigger than it's ever been. Bigger than it's ever been. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it, guys. Please let me know your thoughts on should there be a remake of this iconic film. I said no to the Spike Lee one, but I'm going to give this one, let's just see how it happens. I mean, nothing's happened yet. I may do another video as things develop, when cast members get cast, or if it does come to fruition, because it just might not. Anyway, let me know what you think down there. Sorry I haven't been about a bit. As soon as I heal, get back to work, we're on shorter days now, I should be able to start doing some vinyls. I've not even been playing records that much lately. I've just been so busy with other things, and then couldn't really do a lot. Anyway, have yourselves a great week, people. I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Take care.